Aaron Judge, not the only one chasing history. So is Albert Pujols as the season end comes to an end. Pujols, who is adamant that he's still retiring at the end of the season, needs just 2 home runs to reach 700 in his career, a feat that only 3 have achieved in MLB history. Some guys named Ruth, Aaron, and Bonds. I don't know if you guys have heard of them. All right, so time to bring in baseball historian Tim Kurkjian. Hello, Tim. Great to see you, as always. Dog, I'm going to start with you on this one. Which one is more intriguing, Judge or Pujols?
Well, because baseball has been convoluted with what the actual record is, whether it's 73 or 61, and I've been through this before, 22 years ago, got all revved up with it, and then all of a sudden it was all deflated. I'll go Pujols, and I'm going to eliminate Bonds from 762 anyway because I don't take that seriously with the steroids. So to me, he would only be the 3rd guy in the history of baseball, Timmy and Stevie, to hit 700. He's going to get 2 more. I do think he's going to retire. He's had this great flurry. He should never have left the Cardinals to begin with to go to the Angels. He should have stayed there his whole career because he's beloved in St. Louis. I mean, but 700 home runs, you can make the argument, and Tim, you're a better expert than me. You can make the argument, and there are some tough ones with Aaron and Mays, but you can make the argument he's the greatest right-hand hitter in the history of the sport. So because of that, I'll say Pujols at 700 more so than I'll say Judge at 61.
Go ahead, Tim.
Well, I'm going to disagree a tiny bit here. First off, 700 is remarkable, and what Pujols has done the second half of the season especially is unbelievable. To me, though, 60 is a little bit more of a magical number. I'm older than you guys, maybe slightly older than Doggy there, but 60 was a magical number growing up for me. The only 2 guys that ever gotten there, Maris and Ruth. And I think it is still a magical number. And other guys have come close to 60 homers before. Giancarlo Stanton, Jimmy Fox, Hank Greenberg, people like that. That's what makes it so magical. When I think of 700, I mean, it's a tremendous number. But when I think of 700, I think of 714 with Babe Ruth. I think of 715 with Hank Aaron, and then 755 with Hank Aaron. So I think when it comes down to really magical numbers, I think 60 in its own right is even more impressive than 700, even though they're both incredible.
Well, first of all, there's a couple of things. Last time I checked, Aaron Judge is wearing a Yankee uniform. That does matter. Okay, we see a lot of people chasing records sometimes, but Aaron Judge wearing a Yankee uniform, smacking home runs, okay, in Yankee Stadium, wearing the pinstripes, does matter. We try to act like it doesn't matter, but the most storied franchise in the history of sports, having a dude that's chasing Roger Maris's single-season home run record, does matter. It makes you think about Mark McGwire, sure. It makes you think about Sammy Sosa, sure. It even makes you think about Barry Bonds, sure. But I would remind you that even though that was sustained by the obvious steroid era, and we get all of that, I would hearken you back to the moments that stuff was taking place. I'm talking about the World Series being canceled in 94. I'm talking about 1998 when these dudes served to resurrect the sport. I'm talking about a world, a nation transfixed on the sport of baseball in ways that some people hadn't seen in decades. This is what reminded you of it. I'm not taking anything away from those guys the way a lot of other people choose to. And the fact that Aaron Judge, who's not associated with any of that, is in a Yankee uniform, smacking home runs left and right. Everybody knows what he's going for, and he's delivering the goods. It's a beautiful thing. Now, in the case of Albert Pujols, let me say this. I love this guy. He's a phenomenal player. He's a treasure to the sport. He's been a stand-up guy throughout his career. And the fact that he hasn't been associated with some of the nonsense that has stained baseball in recent memory says a lot about him. And he's on the tail end, batting around 261 right now. Just got about 19 homers on the season. We got all that. But it doesn't take away from the level of greatness that we have witnessed throughout his career. And the fact that he's tinkering towards the end here, or literally going towards the end here, and doing this right now. It's a beautiful, beautiful swan song. Make no mistake about it. But it's really because of the man. And I know that a lot of people might say, well, that's not the way to look at it. I'm looking at it that way. because of the man he is, the professional that he is, the treasure that he has been to the sport of baseball, and being back on the team where he starred for so many years in St. Louis, doing what he's doing right now. It's a beautiful tribute to him. We will give him the respect and deference he deserves. But the better story right now, the more intriguing chase, clearly is Aaron Judge, not just because of the names that it makes you conjure up in the process, but also just the overall excitement because the Yankees, even though the St. Louis Cardinals are still in the mix, the Yankees obviously are the Yankees. That's why I feel the way that I feel about this.
Very fair. Logical, and I think Stevie's right on it. So I could go either way with it, but I think he's right on it. Timmy, back to you for a second. Let me ask something. You've been following baseball, books, Hall of Fame. You want to just pay these
well deserved.
Oh, deserved. Love the guy. Does a tremendous job. What is? I don't want to get you in trouble, but I want to ask you, what is the single season home run record? Is it 73 or 61?
It's 73. Look, anyone who says it's 61, I totally understand, and you're not going to get an argument from me. However, to me, it's 73. If we start taking records out of the record book and we take that one out, then how many more are we going to take out? Then the record book really isn't going to mean anything. It is a line in a book. That's all it is, and it's really important. But I think we should leave it up to our best baseball fans and let them determine who they think is the single-season home run record holder. For me, it's Barry Bonds. It's right there in the record book. I'm not sure there's a way around that, but it's a very complicated issue, and maybe we'll be talking about this in another 20 years because it's not going away.
Hey, listen, Tim, I deeply appreciate that point, and I know we got to go. Thank you for saying that because I 1,000% agree with you. I'm not trying to act like no shade at all should be thrown in Barry Bonds' direction, that there weren't a lot of questions. I get all of that, but at the end of the day, as I repeatedly told Doggy, baseball and the networks celebrated McGwire and Sosa. They celebrated Barry Bonds, but then we want to act like it didn't happen. Thanks for watching ESPN on YouTube. For live streaming sports and premium content, subscribe to ESPN+.